Greg, I was just wondering what was behind the decision to change the look of Kruger from Deca Ranger?
Wow. Well, it was mostly just, Kruger from Deca Ranger. Really, it was like the concept of it was super cool, but the, I personally was like, I can't do a series where one of the lead characters, like where the mentor is like Beanie Baby. So I thought that the design was cool, the look was cool, but I just wanted to, bring a little more life to him. I mean, if you look, I really kept, the coloring and the silhouette of him the same, but I just, the monsters and stuff when they're fighting it, I felt like that's fine, and it was almost maybe good that they weren't very realistic because it helps for the younger audience to kind of separate reality from fantasy. But I thought, this mentor that's supposed to be giving you all this advice, someone you can really connect to, just needed to be a little more animated.
I don't think we could have acted with, the Muppet. Like, because it was tough. He animated, and they had like two people with massive remote controls controlling one controlling his mouth and the other controlling his eyes.
Right.
And then John Tui doing, his voice in general and the mannerisms. So he really became alive. Like you stopped.
Right.
Like you were looking into these, plastic eyeballs.
Yeah.
And like really connecting with some sort of emotional thing, and then you'd remember it's just plastic. But I don't think we could have done it with the same. Yeah. I think Chris cried once, looking into the eyes.
Yeah, I just made a special connection with John Tui, a great actor in New Zealand. But this is kudos to Greg because Doggy Kruger was just like lifelike. You look into his eyes, his eyebrows would be like, his mouth, his jaw, his lip, and everything you could think of in that mask or that head would move or twitch or.
I remember on the Dino Thunder reunion, the Dino Thunder cast came in and they were like, okay, so we did this whole rehearsal thing, and they're like, you're gonna talk to Doggy Kruger, and what we would do is we would power him down during rehearsal and try and make it so that, because when all the servos and the motors move, John Tui couldn't always hear everything very clearly, so we just saved that for the takes. And they hadn't seen the show yet, and they're in there rehearsing and everything was fine, and then the director calls action, we turn the head on, Doggy Kruger turns to them and starts talking, and Emma almost went through the ceiling. She freaked out. She never, because on their show they had the characters and like the mouth would move, but they didn't expect it to be alive. She almost had a heart attack. I was on the floor laughing.
Question.
Yeah. Now, for the bridge upside down thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whose idea was that for doing the upside down thing and the hand thing?
I think the upside down thing is from Deca Ranger, right? They, I said this last panel, but they, when I first got the gig, they called me, and Bruce and Greg called to say, we're really excited. We're gonna have you down in New Zealand. A lot of the cast is from Toronto and or Canada, and you'll have to be able to do a headstand. It's like, okay, it was just like this weird thing. I was like, why? The bridge thinks better when he's upside down. I think in Deca Ranger there's a lot more of it. But I don't know, is the hand thing from?
It's from a different character.
Yeah, it's a different character. We actually, Yellow Ranger does that, right? Yeah, we kind of combine the powers. And it was one of those things where we thought it was funny. We also thought that there might be footage that we would have to use, but there was a lot of back and forth over whether it was a handstand or a headstand.
Yeah, I remember I wanted to do, just because when you get a project and you're told you have to do something, it's really cool to be like, oh, I have to learn something new. And so I had to learn how to do a headstand, but I really wanted to learn how to do a handstand. But they were saying that if a lot of kids start trying to do handstands, they might fall from that and hurt their neck trying to replicate it. So it ended up being more of a simple headstand. That's the truth?
No, I remember, I don't remember what the winning reason was, but I'm sure that, I remember that being in there. There's lots of things, I mean, even the eating of the toast has to be done in a certain way so that no one accidentally chokes on a piece of toast. It's kind of weird because it's like
Oh, right, there's one where I like stuffed a whole bunch in my mouth and they wouldn't let me
Yeah,
do
they wouldn't
that.
let that happen. And it's you know, because again, it's like you're always remembering that the show's for a younger audience and sometimes a really young audience. The responsibility of, you know, being like role models and even the simplest things you think wouldn't really affect anybody, or something you think is funny, or everyone knows not to run into a wall and you can't actually make a hole. And well, I guess not everybody really knows. And you know, they're like, you know, we don't want to show this because someone might try and hurt themselves. So on a show like Power Rangers, it's kind of hard because it's Power Rangers. There's lots of, you know, physical interaction. So to try and do it in a way where it doesn't look like anyone can hurt themselves. But
Would you stand on your head now?
Okay.
Thank you.
Rich.
Jesse, you better get on.
I'm getting it over there.
He lasts about 5 seconds.
You are the man solo. Rest of you, same question.
I'm just saying on Matt's head.
Yeah, not stand on your own head, stand on Matt's head.
Yeah, the trick to doing it, my friend taught me, is you make like a little tripod with your hands in your head, and then you actually put your knees on your elbows. And then from there, it's a lot easier. So if you want to try that out.
so Chris has to go.
Yeah.
He's being promoted.
That's an early morning.
He got promoted to Shadow Ranger now that you're red.
It's just as way.
And it's fast.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing red is your head.
Yes.
Were there differences from shooting your movie that was on the web movie, to when you were shooting your other movies and television?
Which the meanwhile?
Yeah.
That movie? Well, that one was like very different, like way more of an adult character. But I always try and bring some of my old characters into my new character. But no, there's nothing different really that I was shooting for specifically for the web. I think just maybe the way it's shot, because you can't do really arty, like big wide shots and a lot of movement because of the pixelization of the resolution. So it just that's not my job. I'm just there to act. So not really. I'm clearly in shape.